What's going on YouTube? It's your boy DMD, and today I'm coming at you guys with a profile I have not recorded in years. This is Domain Monarchs, and I believe the last time I recorded a profile for this deck was like October of 2017, something ancient like that. So I have decided to, in honor of Pantheism being moved back to 3, finally bring you guys this deck profile. Now, let me be real. This deck is not the most competitive, but it is a lot of fun, and if you're getting into the game and you're new, this is not a terrible place to start out because Domain is a card and you will just kind of sweep matchups sometimes at locals or something, and you will just kind of take people by surprise and just blow them out. So, I guess we'll go ahead and get right into it. I'll kind of keep things as simple as I can just to kind of help new players out. So starting off, we've got triple copies of Ether, the Heavenly Monarch. Essentially what she does when she's tribute summoned, you can send 2 Monarch spell or traps from your deck to the graveyard and special summon a monster from your deck with 2400 attack and 1000 defense, or 2800 attack and 1000 defense, that being your big or your little monarchs. One of the ones that you will summon is 3 copies of Erebus. Essentially, Erebus allows you to shuffle a card back from your opponent's field, hand, or graveyard. So it's really, really powerful. It's good removal. It's good for hand looping. It's good for whatever you need. Erebus is very versatile. And when he's in your graveyard, you can pitch a Monarch spell or trap to add a Monarch with Monarch stats from your grave back to your hand. So he helps you recycle. He helps you get to your Pantheisms quicker and stuff like that. And one other thing I needed to mention about Ether is that she can help you to put damage on your side of the board by tributing herself during your opponent's main phase. So you can tribute summon into her on your opponent's main phase and then bring out a Monarch, so you can disrupt your opponent that way. For our Ether target, we're playing one of Karaz. This card bricks in multiples. I don't really like it that much because it just feels like you're not really gaining a whole bunch of advantage, but summoning this card off of Ether to pop cards and chain return can be really, really strong and help you a lot in the grind game, which this deck actually really does excel at when it comes to grinding, because of Prime, because of how recursive Pantheism is, and because of how recursive the Squires are. It really helps out in the grind game, be able to pop all of your cards and keep drawing and recycling over and over and over again. So 1 Karaz. For our Floodgates, we're playing 1 Majesty's Fiend and triple copies of Vanity's Fiend. These are essentially just Floodgates. So if you are in a matchup like playing against Salamangreat, you can drop a Majesty's Fiend and they pretty much can't play the game. And Majesty's Fiend is searchable, so you can turn off things like hand traps if you're scared of like an Ash Blossom. You can Pantheism freely with a Majesty's Fiend on board, and then Vanity's Fiend, you just like lock out everything. Like Eldritch can't play because they can't special the big golden boy at all. So, and then obviously every other combo matchup in the entire world loses to this card, so there's that. Now for the tag team. These are your tribute monsters, your tribute fodder. 3 Adea and 3 Eidos. Basically, Adea, when she's normal summon, you can special summon a monster with 800 attack and 1000 defense, which is always going to be Eidos. And then Eidos gives you an additional tribute summon. Basically, in addition to that, when Adea is sent to the graveyard, you can target one of your banished Monarch spell or traps and add it back to your hand. And when Eidos hits the graveyard, while he's in your graveyard, you can banish him to summon it back out the Adea. So these two work as a tag team to continually provide you with tribute fodder, especially after the first turn, because once you get past the first turn, you can get an additional normal off of Eidos, and the normal stacks with your regular normal summon that you're given for the turn, so you can commit to multiple tribute summons that turn. Moving on to the spells, we've got Triple Domain. The reason you even play this deck is because you can lock out your opponent's extra deck, and obviously the effect to come and make your big monarchs a little bit smaller and only requiring 1 tribute for them is really good too. So, triple domain, it's a staple. 3 tenacity. This is your searcher. This gets you pretty much any Monarch spell or trap you want. Triple copies of return. This is your monster searcher. It gets you to your big monarchs whenever you tribute summon. So you keep having monsters to tribute for repeatedly so you can gain their effects. Triple copies of Pantheism. I'm so glad this card's finally back at 3 because it means the one problem this deck really had was consistency, and that problem is a little bit alleviated by the fact that this card is at 3. So basically, it's a trade-in for Monarchs. You just ditch a Monarch spell or trap, and you draw 2. And then moving on, we have one of the best disruption cards ever made, Stormforth. You just sack your opponent's stuff. 1, March of the Monarchs, because you win the game immediately if you have like a Vanities or a Majesty's Fiend that your opponent can impermanence. So it's like GG no re. Then for the one of busted broken spell cards, we have Reinforcement of the Army to search out Adea, 1 Foolish Burial to send both Adea and Erebus, so you can do some plays with Erebus if you need a tribute summon or a monster to tribute summon for, and 1 for 1. By far the best extender in this deck, because this enables you to summon Adea without your normal, so you can get like 2 tribute summons off in a turn. So that's really good. Moving on to the trap cards, we have Double Prime Monarch. I found that this is best at 2. I don't play it at 3 because the reason is it can become a little bit bricky, especially because you have so many ways to access it, and you don't want to ever sit on like 1 to 2 primes. You want to have 1 prime set and then 1 in your grave. You don't really want to have access to 2 primes because getting to it is so free. And you're always sending it off of Ether and Erebus, so you don't really need to play 3 of it. So that's that. The 39th card is the Monarch's Erupt. This card is basically another copy of Vanity's Fiend. You can just get a skill drain for basically free, and then you just kind of auto-win because nobody can out a searchable skill drain. It's just really powerful to be able to shut off all of your opponent's monster effects that aren't tribute summon monsters. It's the same reason it was good in True Draco, it's good here. And then finally, the 1 copy of Escalation of the Monarchs. This means that your Erebus becomes basically a quick effect. To spin any card from your opponent's hand, graveyard, or field becomes basically a quick effect, so you have access to it whenever you need. You can also do some neat little tricks with Vanities or Majesties. If they try to play into their turn, you can just disrupt your opponent with the Escalation of the Monarchs, so they kind of just get stopped in their tracks and can't continue on with their combos. So guys, that's pretty much it. If you do have any suggestions, leave them down in the comments section below. I would love to answer them. And again, guys, I know this profile isn't the most competitive. It is not the best deck ever made, but it is one that I thoroughly enjoyed, so I wanted to bring it to you just because. This is a deck that I used to play a lot when I was getting into the game, when Ether, Pantheism, and Stormforth were all still limited. So now that they're back at 3, even though they've been massively power crept out of the format, it is still fun to blow off some dust and come in and profile them. So with that being said, if you guys have any questions at all, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. It's that DMD, and your boy is out.
You're my heartbeat, my silent drum that's kicking me till I'm numb.